Hello, welcome to the Beyond the Questions podcast, because every great conversation starts with a question. We're having real conversations about life with life coaches, and we are anticipating another great episode. So get ready and let's get started.
Hey listeners, welcome back to Beyond the Questions. I'm Ericka, one of your coaches and your host today, and I'm just really delighted to be here with you. Before we get into our topic today, I would just like to introduce these wonderful coaches surrounding me. So TQ, can you start us off?
Sure thing. My name is TQ, and I run TQ Coaching Solutions. It's a coaching business where it's really designed to help you if you are an entrepreneur, innovator, creator, and you're finding that, just stuck, can't quite get over that hump to get to your next thing. That's what TQ Coaching Solutions does, and we love to walk with you. So that's what I do, and I'll throw it over to Kellie.
Great. Hello. So I am Kellie, and I am the founder and chief pivot officer for a company called Purposeful Pivot. And my mission is to help accomplished women experiencing corporate burnout or professional burnout to transition to their what's next and find what their purpose is in this stage of midlife at this moment. So welcome, and thanks for having me. Jason.
My name is Jason. I am the founder of Jason Roten Coaching. I am an emotional intelligence coach who uses that both in people's individual and corporate lives to help them build culture, build the life they want, discover the values they want to live by. And so I ultimately just love walking with people, hearing their story, and helping them achieve their goals and their dreams. So, Ericka, it's great to be here today. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you, Jason. So I walk alongside of people and help them through the deep pains and traumas in life, and mostly women. And today's topic is basically that, from pain to possibility. And so I just want to share something a little personal and first say that this episode might have the potential to trigger some people. And what I would like to share is I remember when I was in a place where I could not see any possibility from my pain. I had no hope, and we'll get into that later. While I want you to know, if you are listening and that is at the place that you are at in your story and in your life, we hear you and we see you. As hard as that could be, even to hear, just have a little bit of trust knowing that someone else has maybe walked that. And I am surrounded by 3 wonderful coaches where they are trained professionally to walk alongside of you in hopes to help you through this season. So with that being said, what I have learned is that the right question can help change our perspective. So as we explore today from pain to possibility, we're going to just do some insights and really hope that this resonates with you. So I'm just going to dive right in and say, Kellie, what was a pain or struggle that became your greatest teacher?
Yeah, I mean, mine. So I know a lot of people have gone through major traumas and things of that nature. Mine was more like a slow realization that success, at least what I had worked decades to build kind of in my career, just didn't fit me anymore. And so on the outside, everything looked great, good career stability, all of that. But on the inside, it was like I was exhausted, I was disconnected. And so it taught me that ignoring your inner voice is its own kind of pain, right? You deal with it internally. It might not be something, that others might be thinking of that they're going through, like, death or divorce or what have you. But this is a different kind of pain. And it just taught me that, you really need to think and listen to your inner voice and try to find possibilities in the pain and a way to grow from it. Because otherwise, if you let it fester, it just becomes more problematic. So mine's a little bit more kind of business focused, but that was really the realization that I had.
Yeah. I think that even still, if that's business focused, that is real to life, right? Like
Absolutely.
listening to that inner voice is what we all need to practice, right?
Right.
So thank you for sharing. How about you, Jason?
Yeah, so unlike Kellie, I could pick a couple of different topics to talk about. I've had my fair share of pain through life. I'm going to go back to one of my earliest ones. So I am a child of divorce and a child of divorce who grew up in the 80s. So being in a divorced family in 2025 is a little bit different than it was in the 80s. I remember the stats of if your parents get divorced, you're not ever going to become anything. And so I used that pain to just fuel a fire inside of me that has driven me to try to do and achieve the things I've tried to do and achieve. And some of that has been helpful and some of that has not been helpful. But I have come to a place all these years later, I would have never been there in the moment, but I've told this to both my parents before. I don't think I would go back and change it. Who I've become today is a result of what I lived through in those moments. And so that doesn't come overnight. That didn't come a year later. That came 2 decades later as I realized I am who I am because of what I've had to go through. And so I'm thankful for that now in a weird way. I mean, I think if I could go back and my parents stay together and we have this happy Leave It to Beaver style family, that'd be great. But that's not what it was. But I'm thankful for the way that others have come around me in the midst of that.
Thank you for your vulnerability in sharing that. That's really deep. And also, just for some of our listeners, that was an old show back around, when Jason was younger.
Yep. My lack of hair and gray
Oh my
goatee
gosh.
does show my age. I am old. So yeah,
Clearly, Erica's the
Right.
young one of the group here.
Do remember it, but can I say I've watched it? Probably not.
TQ, what about you?
Yeah. Man, like you said, Jason, I've got a couple. One of the ones that really sticks out was when I met the lady who is now my wife, and we are in a mixed race marriage, and that was 30 years ago. And so during that time while we were at school, just had to deal with some of the racial issues and working through that was really, really difficult. It really changed me, changed us. And so it was really hard. But one of the things that it gave us that I don't know that many couples get before they get married is that it gave us something hard to work through when we could just walk away, And so there is this solidarity that we had from day one of working through that together, feeling each other out, learning how we deal with this kind of thing. And so I won't go on all details of it, but at this point, that was a huge deal, which really was, especially while we were dating, it was about a 5-year process or so. So, yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing. And even in you describing that, I can hear and see this pain that was there, right? Yet has led to something that is beautiful and fruitful, and this marriage that has gone on. Well, I don't know how long you're married, but together for 30 years.
Yeah, 3 decades.
Married 3 decades?
Married for 30 years, together-ish 35.
Well,
So,
that is
yeah.
absolutely beautiful, and
Yeah.
congratulations for that.
Thank you. It sounds like so long when I say it, like, my goodness. But yeah, it's a beautiful deal.
Yeah. So for me, I will share in a short answer. For me, it was betrayal trauma. And I did spend a very long time in pain and anger and grief and depression and just flat out struggling. I did not believe that I was going to make it through the pain and see anything have a good outcome from my pain. No way. I'm
Right.
throwing it out there to people that see, nope, nothing good is going to come from this. While I sit here today as a coach, and if I look back 10 years, I never thought that this would even be possible or even knew that this was something that I would enjoy doing or want to do. And I do understand that spans long ways, right? From this place of I don't want to get off the floor to now being able to help people through those pains that I have been through. And just knowing that there is a possibility in the pain. And so I want to throw to you guys, what does that actually mean to you? What does finding possibility in the pain really mean?
I think it means that it's not just pain. Like often when I'm in it, it just hurts. But this idea that there's possibility, there's something to be gained from it. I can actually even potentially grow in ways that I had never thought I could, but I mean, that's what I think of when I think of possibility.
Yeah, thank you. What about you, Jason?
So part of my backstory is I was a pastor for a long time. And one of the words that I've come to really appreciate, this is a churchy word, so I'll kind of explain it, but is this idea of lament, like that in this place of pain and hurt, there's hope for something better. There's hope that that's going to end, that this will not be forever. And so there is this trust, I guess. And for me, that hope is in the God I worship. But I think that idea that this pain is real, God is good, and this will last for a season is how I wrestle with the idea that there is possibility in this pain.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And holding on to that hope. Kellie, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I just kind of like to tie into what TQ is saying. I think sometimes pain helps us reinvent ourselves and provides us an opportunity of growth. But like you said, when you're going through it, you don't know that, right? It's whatever it is, it's awful, you're dealing with it. But I feel like we're sometimes we're given these challenges to find our way out and reinvent ourselves or come out on the other side. So it's not, pain, you can't pretend it's not there. It's there. And sometimes you just have to work your way through it to find kind of the gift on the other side, if you will, and the possibilities.
Yeah, and that kind of almost is very related to what TQ said, right? Like getting that growth through it, although not always seen maybe until later. And Jason, I kind of want to go back to the hope. So, how does somebody maintain that hope when they're in their darkest or deepest moments of pain?
I don't think you do it alone. And I think often when you're in those darkest moments, you need people to come around and hope for you. And I don't mean come around with trite sayings that make us feel good, that make everything feel like it's sunshine and rainbows. No, I can't remember if I've shared on this podcast before, but I had a seminary professor and he was fantastic. But
Is that
we were
Beebs?
no, not Beebs. This was Dr. Jacobson. And he lost both his legs to childhood cancer at age 16. And
Wow.
he was in a wheelchair. And he talked about in class all the things that people would say to him. And they would say things like, when God opens a door, when God closes a door, he opens a window. And I'll never forget the day in class. He rolls his wheelchair over to the door, slams it into this closed door. And he's like, I'm in a wheelchair, insert expletive. I can't get out the window.
Huh?
And then he shares this story of
Right.
being in the hospital and a friend came and all the kid did, 16-year-old boy, had no clue what to do. He brought a bag of Cheetos and he said, hey, I don't really know what to say. Do you want to eat some Cheetos? And he just sat in that hospital room. And when I think about hope in my darkest moments, it's when somebody walked up beside me and said, this sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just sit here? And I can name names of people who have walked with me through that. And I am forever grateful for that. So I don't think you do hope. I think others hope for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we can all even just feel that story of your professor too and his friend that just sat right by him.
Yeah, I was going to say something similar. I was going to say hope is kind of borrowed before it's felt, right? You borrow it from other people around you. And,
Mhm.
sometimes it's just choosing not to give up or just make it through this day or make it through this hour. And that's all you can hope for, right? So I think hope is different for everybody and it's whatever your situation is, but sometimes it's just the smallest thing in getting to the next hour.
Yeah. TQ, I see you thinking about something over there to add.
Well, mostly I was just thinking about that phrase that Kellie just said. It's borrowed. I loved that. That's awesome. Yeah, I do think that the community helps. I'll speak for myself. My faith helps. And so I find myself dealing with this thing and that thing. You go through transitions and you're trying to figure out how do you make ends meet? You have kids who are growing up and they're doing their things. How do you parent well? There's just a lot of things that if I'm not careful, the pain of disappointment or the pain of things not being what I want it to be yet can really bring weight. And so my faith allows me to have these promises that there's a God who's going to do something when I can't, because, man, there's a lot of times I can't do squat, And so that helps me out. I know not everybody has faith out there in that, but I'm just throwing it out there. When we talk about hope, for me, that's a really, really big deal.
It really is, and I'm also appreciative for you sharing, and just even it goes back to that lamenting that Jason talked about, and I could just hear you, TQ, and saying that, like, in those times, like, you're having that time with God and being able to be in his presence, right? So it is similar to what Jason and Kelly are both saying. So my example too was when a friend flat out told me, "Well, you can borrow my hope." And I'm like, "Borrow your hope? I don't have anything to give, and I don't even know how to borrow somebody's hope." And at one point, I remember this. I was so low. I didn't have any hope. I remember there was this one time when I had dropped my kids off at a preschool. We were driving away, and I could tell my friend wanted something from me. So I pulled over, and she's like, "I'm getting in the car with you." I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Yep, you do not need to be alone right now, and I'm just gonna be with you." And so it goes kind of to that same thing, like you were saying, Jason, like sometimes just entering into that space with somebody else where they're at, it's kind of like going down into there with them, whether you don't have to say these crazy, and I will kind of say them, like, dumb things, right? Like, the rainbow's gonna be better on the other side. Like, that doesn't help anybody. It really doesn't. But some, like, just sitting, being in their presence, and it's this, like, even what you were describing, TQ, of being in the presence of God, like, if you're praying, and while sometimes we need that other person, and Kelly, like you had said, it's borrowed hope. And that's exactly what she said to me, right? Like, was, "You can borrow my hope." I'm like, "I don't even know what you mean." Now I see it, right? I didn't then. And now I see it. And that's like how we can help people grow and move forward out of these places where they had no hope.
That was a good friend you had.
Yes, she is.
Can I ask you a question, Erica? What did it feel
Yeah.
like for you to borrow? Because we've thrown that phrase out, borrow hope, and we've talked about this community, but for the person who may not have that friend, or they're like, "I don't borrow hope." I hear you saying that, and I can tell it was good for you, but what did that feel like for you?
So I will say in the moment, I really didn't understand what she meant at all. Like I thought about it, and I was like, "I don't know what you mean." And definitely later I see what she means now. She would tell me, right, like that I can borrow her hope. And I'm like, "I have no idea what you mean." Yet then she would come and be with me, right? And she would make the play date for our kids. And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I'll go." Or, like, I didn't get it at the time because I was so dark. Yet now I see it. It was really, I needed to be with somebody else and not allow myself to just lay on the floor alone.
Right.
It sounds like she was moving you forward because
Yeah.
you probably couldn't move forward on your own. So she was occupying your time and helping you move through it, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
there was a gentleman, his name was Rick, when my parents got divorced. And Rick just asked my mom, "Hey, can I pick Jason up once a week after school?" And Rick became my 6th grade, like, small group leader. He followed me through my senior year of high school, and Rick was just always there. I can't tell you a single thing Rick taught me. I can tell you the cool cars Rick drove that he picked me up from school in. I can tell you that every single one of them was a stick shift, and he would take me to get something to drink so he could shift hard and watch me pour it down the front of myself. And I can tell you about the day in a Jeep that Rick said, "We're going to my mom's house because she just made pie." And I grew up in West Virginia, and she lived at the top of this massive hill, and we didn't drive up the driveway. We drove up the side of the hill in a Jeep with no doors and no top to eat the most amazing peach pie I've ever eaten in my life. All of those things gave me hope, gave me a place to be me, to laugh, to goof off, to do the most ridiculous things that I've ever done. And man, I don't know where I'd be if it wasn't for Rick and
Right.
just that constant show, that consistent showing up.
It seems like it was just what he brought to your life at that point, Jason, was this, it was something else other than the trouble, other than the pain.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so like you're in these great cars and you can just enjoy life again with someone else. And I
Yep.
think that's part of that borrowing.
Mhm.
As you're saying that, I'm like, yeah, man, I wouldn't be thinking about anything else, but I'm going up this mountain in this Jeep, it's
It was
awesome.
unbelievable.
White knuckling it, by the way, but
Oh,
took your mind off of
I
it.
was a 9-year-old
He
boy.
was
I was in
probably like,
heaven.
Like,
Yeah. I was like,
yeah,
yeah, this is awesome. So yeah.
that's great.
Yeah. I could
So-
tell you,
Very
I could
cool.
spend a lot of time on a podcast telling you about Rick and all the dumb things
Mm.
we did.
A shout out to
yes. Thank you, Rick. So, with that being said, I kind of want to state too, is it possible, even though you've described it in that scenario with Rick and the Jeep, to kind of hold and have the pain while also holding a little bit of joy at the same time? And how do you do that?
Yeah, I think you can't ignore the hurt, right? It doesn't matter what the hurt is. It's there, it's real, it aches, and it never goes away, right? Like, yeah, I mean, it aches and aches and aches. You can go enjoy the time, but the minute the time's done, the ache is there. And doesn't matter what that is. And that, again, I don't want this to become the churchy podcast, but like, I can't do it other than the way TQ said it. It's my faith, right? I'm not trying to force that on anybody else, but man, when I read the Psalms and I read like these poems of heartbreak and hurt, the author of the Psalms isn't like, oh yeah, life's great while I'm in captivity here in this place. He's like, no, it sucks. Where are you? And
Yeah.
I think there's something about, because why time with Rick was fun, why time with others in my life in the midst of pain has provided relief. It was also a safe enough place to say, what's going on right now is BS. And this hurts and I'm scared and I don't know what to do. And in the midst of that, just have somebody sit there and know you're not alone. And so, yeah, you can hold the joy. You can go through life. We all know how to put on our mask, right? And fit in and be socially aware of what's happening around us. And yet it hurts.
Yeah, go ahead, TQ.
Thank you for sharing that, Jason. The holding the pain, like you don't get through it without holding it. I mean, if you throw platitudes at it, as we said, or just try to act like it doesn't exist, that does not work. It comes out some other way. It finds a way to escape out, whether it's outbursts, other behaviors, it just comes out. You got to deal with that. And when you're able to deal with that and start to work through it, which sometimes that takes your community, some other people to give you a little bit of insight to like, maybe here's a way through this. Then when you start to see that, then you can begin to see, like that word we said, possibility. You can begin to see that there is, there may be something on the other side of this. I may not even know what it is, but one, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this pain. And so I don't want to be here the rest of my life, or at least want to begin to heal from it. So I got to do something with this or it's going to cave me in. So I think that's how you do it. Go, man, I acknowledge this over here and this hurts and this is not good, but man, my life is more than this pain and there's something else on the other side. And if I can get through that with my community, with my faith, even with believing in yourself, if you want to go there as well, any of that can help you go, I don't have to stay in this pain, and I can move through it. I believe that is a universal truth that, because if we do, I know people who are still stuck in their pain from years ago. It's just hard. Every day is like trudging through some thick gunk and they feel like they get nowhere. And it just, as you said, Ericka, it's dark. It just keeps getting darker and darker until you're able to kind of look above the horizon of the pain and go, is that a light I see over there? Maybe if I just start walking towards that, maybe there's something else on the other side,
Yeah. So well said. Gosh, I was just thinking this. I'm like, I think it comes down to, I think they can coexist, right? I mean, you've got the pain, you can't get, you've got to deal with it, like you said, but you can choose to be grateful for what you do have and to walk towards that. And then I think it's kind of, it's not either or, maybe it's but and, like, yes, I've got the pain, but I've got great things and I look forward to experiencing them in the future. I think, a lot of it does. I mean, the pain's going to suck. There's like, you can't get past it, but you can get through it and you can try to use it to forge a new way through and a future. Because, like you said, TQ, if you don't, then you're stuck in that pain forever. So you get to choose, do I want to be stuck here or do I want to get through it and find something better and be grateful for what I can do? So I think it's kind of an either or. You can not either or, but you can have them both. They both exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an and it's a learned or potentially, right? A learning to, okay, how do I hold this pain that's really hard over here while also holding this? I can hold them both. And Jason, I want to go back to how you said the Psalms. And it is also kind of, I have journaled some rough things. And I look back at
Mm-hmm.
those not to be in that place again, but to acknowledge where I was and where I am now. And saying, I'm so grateful I am no longer in a place where I have to just completely journal and get everything out. While I do remember in that place, I would do that while also being like, okay, I'm going to go for a run because I enjoy this, right? So it is holding both of those things. And we kind of have mentioned about community or being in the presence of other people. So, with the holidays in mind, how do we support those around us who may be in this place of pain or carrying pain? And the holiday season might look differently for them.
I think kind of like what you said earlier, Erica. It's not, maybe it's sitting quietly with somebody. It's not forcing a conversation. It's not telling people, oh, it's time to celebrate, come out to the parties. Like, I think sometimes it's just letting someone know that you're there and maybe you don't have the word, because sometimes people don't have the words and they don't know how to help you. And if they can just show up, be by your side and let you talk to them. And when you're ready, having them allow you the space to just give it some time. I think that's how you approach the holidays. You're just there for people, realizing everybody, people are going through things and maybe you don't see it on the outside, but they might be hiding it. And your job is just to kind of sit quietly with them.
Yeah, give them room to express. I'm thinking about the last podcast when Jason said, go out and get some angry music, and go run, or, that's an expression. And sometimes I've just had people who have been so mad and angry and they needed to yell at the sky or someone hear them. And sometimes even, this is really hard, sometimes it comes out even as anger at you. But if you can go, I recognize they're in pain and kind of take that, not as in like, being abused or anything like that, but you hear what they're saying without taking it personally and recognize they just need room to vent, and we let them, which is hard because often I just want to make them feel better. You know what I'm saying? I just want to do something to make it all nice. And we just can't rush that process,
That's why you're a coach, TQ. You want to help people.
Well, and I think as you're describing that too, just in that moment with people, what I was envisioning is being a mom. And sometimes my kid is crying. I'm like, really? You don't have the right yogurt? But okay, I'm a bad mom because I bought the wrong yogurt, which of course there's parenting in there, right? But I listen and then we talk about it. But it is allowing him to express what he needs to express, and then we can learn through it and move through it. So that's just kind of like what I was envisioning, as even we need to do that with it as adults too.
Yeah, big people need that too. Yeah,
You're a good mom too, Erica. That was the right yogurt last week. It's just the wrong yogurt this week.
for
Definitely.
sure.
I think as I think about the holidays and people who are feeling that pain or going through that pain today, I don't know that there's a universal answer in like what we say or what we ask. But I think it's how we do it. So when we show up and we say, how are you doing really? And then don't tell them all the great things that are going on with you or all the things you have going on. Just sit in the awkward silence and give them space. Like, like the other two said, that's the only thing I know to do in those moments. And yeah, if they need to yell, let them yell. There's nothing out of bounds. Get it out, whatever that is. You want to go to the gym and hit a punching bag? Let's go hit a punching bag. Like, let's go do whatever you need to do to get that out. I mean, there are definitely unhealthy coping mechanisms, right? Like, find yourself eating a gallon of ice cream, or you ate the whole pumpkin pie before everybody came over. Maybe we need to look at healthy processes, or you start doing self-harm. But, I think, what's it look like to get that out of you? And what's that need to be? And whatever that is, I'm not afraid of it. I'm here. And I want to be there for you. So
Yeah. Well, and I think that goes back to your safe space, right? Like that person is a safe space for the ability to express or not express, is allowing that person grace if they choose to sit in the silence, right? And no judging, not even responding. And you said, Jason, and it's so funny. We all have these little slight triggers, right? If we pay attention. How are you? Oh man, that one. It's just like an American saying, right? Like, oh, hi, how are you? I'm like, do
Right.
you have an hour?
right. Yes.
I actually like would started telling people, and this goes by like simple answers. I'm here. How are you? You don't want to hear about how I am, right? And so I think with your question though, and asking that, it's with intention, right?
Right.
You are intending to sit there and listen to whatever they have to say. And that is what is really beautiful. And so just to kind of wrap up what we've been talking about, some of these deep pains and how we can actually see the possibility for growth, for looking forward, for knowing to hold presence with people, and how potentially community can help. Before we end this, what are some practical skills or advice that we can give our listeners today?
One is when you're going through pain and you're in the moment, if you can take a look back at pain that you've already worked through, past successes, and that can help. They can help you go, okay, I know this is pain and it's hurting right now, but in my life, we've gone through this and gone through this. Even the small ones, don't count those out. However big or small they are, be able to look back and go, hey, I've been through pain before. I can get through it. Some of us, sometimes we hang out with pain like a friend, and it's not. We need to like, how you doing? Walk on.
Yeah, I
Walk
like
on.
that.
I like it. Yeah.
What about you, Kelly?
Well, I think maybe like routines. I think sometimes if you have routines that you've always done before, just because you're going through something now, don't change them, because those kind of create the steadiness of your life, right?
Yeah.
Those routines, and then I think boundaries too. I mean, especially like holiday time, right? You think, oh, I got to go to the parties, I got to show up, I got to put this face on, like I'm fine. But you know what? You can say no. And know that you can say no, and you have boundaries that you can do whatever makes you feel good in this at this time until you get through it. So I think between routines and boundaries, maybe if you honor those, that can be helpful.
Yeah, no is a complete answer.
Yep.
And to that, I would just say, don't go through it alone. Who is your safe space? Who do you need to invite in? The hard part is a lot of people might not know how to enter in. They don't know how to show up. They're afraid to show up. They're afraid if they show up, they don't know what to say. And so I don't want to put it all on the person in the midst of the pain. But if in one of those moments of clarity, who do you trust enough to let in and reach out? And don't do this alone.
Yeah. And with that, Jason, sometimes if you're going through the pain and you invite somebody in, you can tell them, I don't need any answers. I just need somebody.
Yeah.
And you can kind of coach them a little bit to go, don't try to fix it. Can we just hang out? Can we just go to a movie? Can we,
Can we eat Cheetos? That's what I would say. Can I
There you
come eat
go.
Cheetos?
And I think too, really, I'm actually thinking of a friend of mine when she was going through a hard time. I had to continually reach out to her for a very long time, and she ignored me a lot. Well, I just didn't let it bother me. I knew eventually she either would have to respond or something, but I just kept pursuing her because I knew she wasn't in a healthy place. And so I just consistently kept doing that while waiting and knowing like eventually maybe and maybe not. But if she needs that space, I'll be there. And I do want to throw a fun practical skill out there. and I already can hear Jason. Just wait.
Oh man, I got called
tried.
out and she didn't even say it yet. That's
I know. I
Man.
tried to, not use any big words this
Give
time.
me another big
No.
word.
Jason, you
Yes.
and I are supposed to practice big words.
It's
Yeah,
really
I
not.
didn't.
It's really not a big word. Just a little bit of education here. When we're in that deep pain, our prefrontal cortex, it's a part of our brain, it can go, what you say, offline, right? And that is just, it happens during times of trauma. This is the survival mode, whether you want to call it freeze, fawn, fight, flight. Anyways, we need to get that prefrontal cortex back online. So some fun games that you can do is like memory, Tetris, solving problems. There's probably a million apps for your phone out there. I think I've used some of the word games, anything like that where you're solving puzzles and solving things that helps to get your prefrontal cortex back online. And Jason will research it so much more for next time that he knows exactly what I'm talking about. Whereas I'm picturing all of our neurons firing off and trying to get it to come back online.
That was only like 5 syllables. I mean, come on, prefrontal cortex. That was an easy one. Gosh, I didn't even spell that.
The real question is,
Man.
did you guys research from last time?
I couldn't spell that word to put in ChatGPT.
Listeners, we were
Oh.
laughing about last episode. Go check it out if you're
Yeah.
wondering
That's right.
what
Yeah.
this big
What are we-
word stuff is.
And is there anything that you guys would like to add before we wrap this up today?
I just say take care of yourself and do what's right for you. That's all you can do.
Ericka, I just want to say thank you. I think it's not easy to dive into these kind of real topics that hurt. And so I want to thank you for creating that space where we could talk about our own and where hopefully our listeners hear that they're not alone in that pain, that there are a lot of people around us who are carrying it and we don't see it because they hide it really well and they feel all alone. And so I appreciate your courage and your boldness to really step out and name it and give us a place to talk about it and hopefully provide some comfort to those who are listening. So thank you.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah, listeners, you're cared for. Even if you're like, I'm not sure if there's anybody around. There's 4 people in these screens that you're looking at. We care. At least you have that.
Yes, please reach out. All of our information is below. If you are in that place and you don't have anyone to talk to or to sit in awkward silence, it's okay to sit in the awkward silence for a long time. And I just want to thank you all for joining us today. And really, if anything that we said hit close to home, please take that little bit of a courageous step and reach out to any one of us. Our contact information is listed and we are here to help. We truly do want to help you. So thank you for joining us today and we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Care.
And Cheetos, if you're listening, we're looking for corporate sponsorship. Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Beyond the Questions. Be sure to subscribe so that you can stay up to date concerning future episodes. And if you would like to connect with any of the hosts on Beyond the Questions, their contact info is linked in the description below. Thanks for stopping by, and we will see you on the next episode of Beyond the Questions.